Hello everyone, it is Zigzag here, and welcome back to another video. First off, thank you very much for 400 subscribers. Let's push on to 500, become part of the first 500 by subscribing today. But today, I'm going to be showing you guys a few tips and tricks to do with the compass, and I'll start very basic, and we'll move on to some more advanced stuff. So I was the type of player who never really wanted to use much of the compass. I don't really like the whole process of pinpointing that much anyway, and I was kind of ignorant towards it until recently, and I'll show you what I've worked out recently and some of the tips and tricks I use, and hopefully they will help you out. So obviously, the red on the compass denotes north, and the white denotes south, and when you are facing the compass north, towards the red, whatever's right of the compass is to the east, and whatever's left of the compass is to the west, and it's opposite when you face the compass to the south. Whatever is to the right is to the west, and whatever's to the left is to the east. This is of course important because when you guess on Geoguessr, the map is set out with north facing upwards, so you need to contextualize all the information you gather ready to guess on a north-oriented map. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how my first technique works. Basically, what you do is you line up the compass with due north. Then what you're going to do is look at the road angle in relation to where due north is. So we can see that the road kind of tends towards right, which we established is east when you face the compass north. So then what you're going to do is mentally draw a line from the bottom of the screen, or like the middle of the road, right up to the top of the screen. And with that, you'll see where the line intersects, where I've drawn in blue here, and that is the angle of the road. So now that we've done that, I'm going to go into the map and see a road that intersects at a similar level as that blue line. Now I've already seen a sign over here that says the city name, so all I need to do is find a road along here that fits that road length and that angle. So I find this one, and immediately I'm pretty confident because I'm lining up again with my mouse to see whether that road intersects, and again against the map you can see that again it tends a little bit to the right, a little bit to the east, and then I'm going to simply look at all the roads in that direction and see whether or not they are fitting. This one has a bit too much of an angle in my opinion, and this technique requires quite a bit of eyeballing, but you can see that actually, without many clues at all, I'm able to pull a good guess here. So again, I'm just being careful to line it up. I also see that there's an airport or something and an overpass. So those two things both help me cement the fact that it's probably on this road. The overpass up to the north there. And yeah, I've pretty much worked out that I'm here and the road angle fits. And what do you know? I am able to pull a 300-meter guess. So very nice indeed. Okay, in this round we're in Lesotho, and this round is not quite as nice as the last one. It's not going to be 5Kable like the other one was, but I'm going to use this to demonstrate how you can use bends on both sides of the road. So in this one, the road to our north tends east, and to our south it tends a bit west. Using the technique I said before, using the straight line imagined across our screen, we're going to go in and find a location that somewhat fits here. And over here, I find one that, yep, it bends around sharply to the east there, and to the south it bends around sharply to the west. So we're in the mountains, it's Lesotho, I'm quite sure of that, and I'm just going to go for the guess in a second here. Now, it ends up being quite wrong indeed, and I'm just double checking here. Ends up being quite wrong indeed, but you can see that when I zoom into this one where it actually was, yeah, it's a similar shape, and so I'm going to go back here and show you that it was indeed a similar shape despite the fact that we were in the wrong location. So obviously you need to use your other facilities to work it out, but we did get the right shape of the road. One last thing to be mindful of is that when you zoom in with the compass, you can see that it slightly alters its orientation, and so particularly if you zoom in on any side of the screen, I mean this might be obvious to some people, but yeah, it's going to change it up. So it's going to be subtle differences as you zoom in and out, and so you should take those into consideration. Okay guys, I'm now coming at you live, and I have a compass training map or two, both of which will be linked in the description, and here we have east to west on Highway 66, just 5 locations, and I'll show you why in Australia we will need to know the road angles in order to be able to get a good score. So you can see here we are in the absolute middle of nowhere. There's basically no distinguishing features to this entire spot. Okay, so now let's get into the map and see what I mean. So we have this east to west road that runs to Mount Isa from here out in the middle of nowhere. And so we're going to use the road angle using a similar technique to the first one I described to get the road angle here. So you can see that we do have the road, and it is slightly running a little bit northern. So we have the compass set to due north, and then we are going to have an imaginary line. And so if we start off here, we can see that if we draw a straight line, we're getting further and further away from the road. So that means the angle of the road is slightly tending southwards when we have the when we have this open. So we can see that perhaps this angle here fits. This one doesn't because it's too straight. This one doesn't because it's too steep. So what I'm trying to say is, like, yeah, this road is pretty much, I mean, if you're looking at it, it's pretty much east to west. However, we can get the slight angle of the road for these finicky rounds like this. However, I can't remember where I put this location actually. This angle is a bit too steep. This angle could work as well, actually. And because it's so east to west, I think this one actually might be this one. So I'm going to guess here. And okay, it's a similar angle here. You can see it's actually tending ever so slightly downwards there, almost exactly east to west. So let's move on to the next one. Okay, this one is on the same road, but you can see that we are much more on a diagonal here. So if we're using our technique and we draw a line here, we can see that the road is definitely running up this way, so running up towards the west on the map. And this one is going to be the best fitting road because of the angle it's at. It could be over this side, but I've said it's only on the Route 66, so not on the A2. So this is the only road angle that really fits here. And there we go, we were correct. Okay, next one. And on this one, we're going to draw our imaginary line again. We're drawing it across like this. And this time you can see it's angling upwards towards the east. So we're going to look at another region where we are kind of angled upwards. This one doesn't fit. This one is the right angle as it's getting higher towards the east. However, it's too steep. So we're just going to find one. This one here could work. This one is probably a bit steep. This one here could work. So, yep, let's try there. And it was actually up here, but you can see the angles of the two places I clicked are quite similar. In fact, almost the exact same, I would say. Okay, let's get in again. And this time, the angle of the road is up. It's diagonal, but it is up and to the east. So we're looking for a bigger angle this time, and I think it might be this one here. Yes, it is. And so if you really need on a round to take your time and get it correct, this technique will serve you very nicely. Okay, this time the road is tending up towards the west, and so let's find a road that is more or less east to west, but tends up towards the west. So it could be here, I think. Could be on this kind of angle here. In fact, this one kind of seems likely to me. Or here as well. Maybe it's there. And okay, it was actually on this one that I said. I made this map a few hours ago, so I already forgot. But you can see that the angle here and the angle here, fairly similar. And honestly, if I took a little bit more time and looked around a bit harder, I would have gotten it. But yeah, that is just a quick explanation. So one alternative to the explanation I just gave would be if you could imagine a four-pointed compass. This compass would look something a little bit like this. I've just whipped it up on snipping tool with the two different colors. But imagine this blue points out to the east and the black points out to the west. If you could imagine this in your head, then you could say, okay, this road here, it's pointing east to west, but it veers more towards the south, more towards the white, than it does towards the north. Likewise, if I turned it around, I can't because I just drew this, but then you could see that, you know, it veers more towards, yeah, you get the picture. That one would work probably better if you have a better kind of spatial awareness. I don't really, so I tend to stick to the northern method because then I can immediately apply it straight onto the map. However, if you do have a good sense of like spatial awareness, then feel free to do it the other way. It's really whatever works best for you, and I hope that that has helped you out a little bit. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching, and also thank you very much for 400 subs. There's going to be lots of good videos coming soon, so stay tuned. And yeah, I'll have both of the maps for the north to south and the east to west training in the description. Feel free to go ahead and try those and like them. And hopefully that helps you out when you're trying to pinpoint, because this is a widely applicable technique and should help you from the biggest highways to the smallest neighborhoods. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.